The Child in the Fog. In a small village nestled deep within a forest, where sunlight rarely pierced through the thick canopy, there was a strange legend about a child in the fog. Every morning, as dense mist blanketed the villagers would often see the silhouette of a child wandering in the nearby woods. Its shape was faint, like a mirage, but everyone could sense its presence. This child had no name, and no one knew who they were or where they came from. Some believed it was the spirit of a child who had gone missing years ago, while others thought it was merely a figment of the imagination. Regardless, the story of the child in the fog had become an inseparable part of the villagers' lives. One day, a girl named Katie, known for her curiosity and bravery, decided to uncover the truth about this child. Katie always felt there was something mysterious and captivating about it, and she wanted to explore the real story behind that hazy silhouette. Katie began her journey on a foggy morning. She donned a warm coat and took a flashlight to light her way. As she stepped into the woods, the air turned cold and silent, with only the sound of dewdrops falling onto the leaves. Katie felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. She ventured deeper into the forest, her heart set on finding the child in the fog. After a while, Katie stopped to listen. Suddenly, she heard a child's laughter, echoing like a soft melody. She looked around and saw a small figure standing in the distance, near a large ancient tree. "Hello!" Katie called out, trying to keep her voice steady. The figure did not respond immediately, remaining still like a statue. Katie approached cautiously, her heart racing. As she got closer, she could see that it was a child, about 5 or 6 years old, with tangled long hair and bright, star-like eyes. "What's your name?" Katie asked, feeling a rush of emotions. "I'm Tina," the child replied, her voice as clear and sweet as a bird's song. "I live here." Katie couldn't believe her ears. She had found the child in the fog. "Why are you here alone?" she asked. "I'm not alone," Tina smiled. "I play with the souls in the forest. They are always with me." Curiosity piqued, Katie inquired, "Which souls? Who are they?" Tina pointed towards the towering trees. "Those who lived here before. They tell me stories about the village and their lives." Katie felt a mix of astonishment and unease. "But can you go home?" she asked. Tina shook her head. "I don't know the way back. I'm just a child in the fog." Katie's heart sank at the thought. She felt Tina's sadness and was determined to help her find her way home. "I'll help you. I'll find a way to bring you back," Katie promised. Tina looked at Katie with hope in her eyes. "If you can do that, I will be grateful forever." Katie embarked on her quest to uncover the truth about Tina and how to help her return. Together they explored the forest's mysteries, where Katie learned tales of the spirits that had once lived there. Each spirit had a unique story, and one spirit named Mr. Tony, who had lived in the village over a century ago, shared his knowledge of the mysteries and the power of love. "Only love and loyalty can help you find your way back," Mr. Tony advised. "Remember, you are never truly alone. The spirits of those who love you are always beside you." Inspired by Mr. Tony's words, Katie resolved to find a way to help Tina return to her family. They continued their journey, and eventually they reached a high hill that offered a view of the entire village. "There!" Tina pointed toward the village. "My house is near that big tree." Katie felt a surge of excitement. She had discovered the way. However, as they approached the village, Katie realized that Tina couldn't return like an ordinary child. Tina could only come back if people remembered her and loved her. "We need to hold a ceremony," Katie suggested. "We'll pray for your spirit to be set free." They organized a small ceremony and invited the villagers to join them. Katie recounted Tina's story and the tales she had shared with her. The villagers were moved by this narrative and gathered together to pray. As the ceremony concluded, Tina stood beside Katie, her eyes shining brightly. "Thank you," she said. "I can feel the love from everyone." Suddenly, a gentle breeze swept through, carrying the fragrance of wildflowers. Tina smiled and slowly began to fade into the fog, leaving behind a profound sense of tranquility. Katie watched the silhouette of the child vanish, tears streaming down her face, but her heart felt light. From that day on, the village no longer told tales of the child in the fog. Instead, they spoke of a girl who had been set free through love and loyalty. Katie had learned that love possesses a boundless power, capable of overcoming barriers and guiding lost souls back to life. Returning home, Katie was filled with faith and hope. She understood that the child in the fog was not just a story, but a part of the life that she and the villagers had built together. Sounds on the roof. On a chilly autumn evening, as golden leaves fell and the air began to cool, Lisa returned to her family home after a long time living in the city. Her old house sat on the outskirts, with red brick walls and an ancient tile roof. Though somewhat dilapidated, it still held an enchanting beauty. Upon entering the house, Lisa felt an unusual silence. Every small sound became more pronounced, from the wind whistling through the cracks to the creaking of old furniture. But there was one sound that unsettled her, a strange noise coming from the roof. Occasionally, she heard a clattering sound, as if something was moving up there. Perhaps it's just some birds, Lisa reassured herself, but deep down, she couldn't shake the feeling of unease rising within her. As night fell, Lisa lay in bed, trying to sleep, but the noise from the roof continued to disturb her. Curious and a bit frightened, Lisa decided to check it out. She put on a warm coat and stepped outside. Looking up at the roof, Lisa saw a dark shadow shimmering in the moonlight. She held her breath, her heart racing. "Is anyone up there?" Lisa called out, but there was no answer. She felt as if she were being watched, but didn't know by what. Determined to uncover the truth, Lisa climbed up the old wooden ladder leading to the roof. The tiles were slippery beneath her feet, and as she stepped onto them, a cold breeze swept through, tossing her hair. Lisa stood still, listening. The strange noise persisted, but it seemed closer now. She quietly approached the back of the roof, where the sound was coming from. When she arrived, she spotted a large black cat sitting silently, staring down. She breathed a sigh of relief. "Turns out it's just a cat," Lisa thought, and began to turn back. But just as she did, the noise erupted again, this time louder and almost growling. She turned back, realizing the cat had vanished, leaving an eerie silence. "Is something else up on the roof?" Lisa pondered, and at that moment a faint voice whispered from the darkness. "Help me, please help me." Lisa froze, unable to believe her ears. Who is speaking?" she asked, her voice trembling. "I am a lost soul," the voice replied. "I cannot leave this place." Lisa didn't know what to do. She didn't want to believe she was speaking to a spirit, but a part of her felt compassion. "What do you need help with?" Lisa asked, feeling her courage slowly returning. "I once lived here," the voice continued. "I made a great mistake in my life, and now I cannot find peace." Lisa felt the sadness in that voice. "Maybe you need to find the things you lost," she advised. "Remember those who loved you." "I don't know how," the voice choked. "I have nowhere to return." After thinking for a moment, Lisa decided, "We will hold a ceremony to honor you. Perhaps that will help you find peace." Thus, Lisa began to prepare for the ceremony. She gathered items related to art, from paintbrushes to drawing papers, and arranged them on the roof. Lisa lit candles and began to pray for the artist's soul. As the flames flickered, the air around her grew warm and filled with love. Lisa felt the presence of the artist, and within her heart, a sense of tranquility spread. After the prayer ceremony ended, Lisa sat back for a moment to enjoy the silence. She felt a gentle breeze blowing through, and from a distance she heard a whisper, "Thank you, I have found peace." The darkness on the roof began to dissipate, and Lisa knew that the artist's soul had been freed. She felt relieved and filled with hope. The noises from the roof had ceased, leaving only silence and tranquility. As she returned inside the house, Lisa felt as if she had done something good. She had helped a soul find its way home, and that had warmed her heart more than ever. From that day forward, Lisa vowed never to forget that memories and love live on, even when someone has passed away. The Black Mirror. In a small village nestled deep in the woods, there was a mysterious black mirror placed in a dark room of an abandoned house. No one dared to go near it, for tales of horror about the mirror had spread throughout the land. It was said that the mirror could reflect not only images, but also the darkest secrets of the soul. Mia, a curious and brave girl, was always drawn to strange things. One day, while exploring the abandoned house with her friends, Mia decided she had to see the mirror. Although her friends felt anxious, they agreed to follow her. As they entered the house, a chilling atmosphere enveloped them. The crumbling walls and dusty objects created a somber mood. Mia led the way, her excitement growing as they approached the room where the mirror was kept. The old wooden door creaked open, revealing a dark room with the black mirror standing silently on the wall. Its surface was covered with a thick layer of dust, but still emanated a strange glow. Mia felt an irresistible pull from the mirror, keeping her gaze locked on it. "Mia, don't go too close," one friend warned. "We don't know what awaits us there." But Mia didn't listen. She stepped closer, wiping away the dust from the mirror's surface. As the mirror cleared, an image appeared. Not her reflection, but a strange scene. A gloomy forest, flickering torchlight, and shadows of figures is moving. "What is happening?" Mia whispered, captivated by the strange sight. Suddenly the mirror trembled and the image became clearer. Mia saw herself standing among a group of people dressed in ancient attire, preparing for a mysterious ritual. A beautiful woman with a gaze full of mystery stared back at her through the mirror. "Girl, come to us," she beckoned. The voice was like an echo from another world. Mia felt an otherworldly force, as if the woman was pulling her into that alternate realm. She blinked, and when she opened her eyes again, she found herself no longer in the old room, but in an entirely different place. Now she stood in the gloomy forest, surrounded by unfamiliar faces. The shadows around her felt both familiar and frightening. "Mia! We have to get out of here!" one of her friends, Ethan, shouted. They had followed her into the mirror, and now stood beside her. But no one knew what to do next. "What is this place?" Mia asked, looking around in panic. "We're trapped in the mirror," Ethan exclaimed. "We need to find a way back." The figures in the forest began to approach, and Mia felt her heart race. They seemed to be preparing for a strange ceremony, and Mia knew they had to escape before it was too late. Mia and her friends ran deeper into the woods, but the shadows followed closely behind. They felt an invisible force drawing them closer. Finally, when they reached a clearing, Mia spotted the mirror once again. "Maybe we can go back through there," she yelled. As they approached, the mirror started to shake violently. A sound erupted from within, as if someone was trying to break free. "Mia, help us!" a faint voice cried from inside the mirror. Mia felt a mix of fear and compassion. "We have to help them," she told her friends. Together, they tried to open the mirror, and when Mia touched its surface, it warmed under her fingers. Suddenly, a powerful light burst forth, and the images of the figures in the forest vanished. She realized that the mirror didn't just reflect images, but was a gateway to secrets she had never known. It held the trapped souls of those who had lost their way and could not find their path home. Mia felt a responsibility to save them. Determined, she decided she would not let this happen again. "We need to learn about this mirror," Mia said, "and do everything we can to help the trapped souls." They returned to the village, where Mia had heard stories about the mirror. She began to seek information from the elders in the village, those who knew about the history of the house and the mirror. They told her about a woman named Elena, who had lived in that house and became trapped in the mirror after performing an ancient ritual. Mia was resolute in her mission to help Elena and the other souls. She organized a ceremony to pray for them, hoping that through this act, they could set the trapped souls free. On the day of the ceremony, Mia and her friends gathered around the mirror. They lit candles, placed flowers, and prayed for the trapped souls. As they prayed, the air grew heavy, and the mirror began to glow. A strong wind swept through, and the images within the mirror became clearer than ever. Mia felt a powerful connection between herself and the mirror. In an instant, the image of Elena appeared, gazing intently at Mia. "Thank you, child," Elena said. "You have freed me and the other souls." Mia felt overwhelming joy fill her heart. "We did it," she whispered, feeling as though a part of her had been fulfilled. As the prayer ceremony concluded, the black mirror slowly returned to its original silent form. The air became clear, and Mia knew they had succeeded in freeing the trapped souls. The black mirror was no longer a source of fear. It had become a symbol of hope and courage. Mia understood that she had not only rescued the souls, but had also discovered the strength of friendship and determination. The cry in the dark room. In a remote small town, there was an old house that had been abandoned for many years. The house stood at the end of a lonely road where no one dared to go near, especially at night. The townspeople whispered that the house held many mysteries, but the most frightening was the crying sound that echoed from the dark room on the second floor. However, there was a girl named Lily who was always curious about strange things. Lily loved exploring and was not afraid of scary things. One evening, as the cold winds began to blow through the town, she decided to explore the haunted house. As she approached the house, its dark silhouette loomed in the moonlight. She opened the old wooden door, which creaked loudly, and stepped inside. The musty smell hit her nose, and the air felt heavy. Lily took a deep breath and began exploring each room in the house. The first room she entered held nothing but old, dusty furniture. But as she climbed to the second floor, the crying began to grow louder. It was a sorrowful sound, like a child crying, and it sent chills down her spine. Despite her fear, Lily's curiosity was stronger. She walked down the hallway, searching for the source of the crying. At the end of the corridor, she found a weathered wooden door that looked like it had never been opened. The crying grew clearer, as if it was calling out to her. Gathering her courage, Lily opened the door. The dark room was empty except for an old bed, the walls covered in mold with no light filtering in. As the beam from her flashlight illuminated the space, she noticed an old painting hanging on the wall. In the painting was an image of a little girl, her face sorrowful, her eyes brimming with tears. Lily felt her heart ache as she gazed at the painting. Who is this girl? She wondered. Why is she crying? The crying echoed in the room, and Lily sensed something was amiss. She stepped closer to the painting, and as she touched it, a cold gust swept through the room, extinguishing her flashlight. In the darkness, the crying intensified, and the painting began to tremble. "Help me," a weak voice whispered. Lily was terrified, but she couldn't bring herself to leave. She felt a desperate yearning for help coming from the girl in the painting. "Where are you?" Lily asked, her voice trembling. "Why are you crying?" "I'm here, in the painting. I'm trapped." The crying grew louder, and Lily sensed the overwhelming despair in the voice. Determined to uncover the story behind the girl, Lily left the dark room and began searching the house. She stumbled upon an old diary lying on a table in the living room. Opening it, she found entries about a family that once lived there. Among the pages were sketches of the girl in the painting. Her name was Anna. The entries revealed that Anna was a bright and lovely child, but she had mysteriously disappeared one stormy night. Her family had searched everywhere, but could never find her. Eventually, they left the house, leaving Anna trapped within the painting as a lost soul. Despite the fear that gripped her, Lily made a resolution to help Anna. She returned to the dark room and faced the painting. "I will help you," she whispered. "I won't leave you alone anymore." Lily began researching ways to free Anna, exploring the house and seeking out ancient rituals that could release a trapped soul. Finally, she discovered that only a special ceremony could bring Anna back to the living world. Quickly, Lily prepared for the ceremony. She gathered necessary items from around the house: wildflowers, a candle, and a white cloth. As night fell, she returned to the dark room and began the ritual. As she recited the incantation, the candlelight flickered, and Anna's cries gradually transformed into soft whispers. Suddenly, the painting glowed, and Anna's image appeared before her. "Thank you, kind girl," Anna said, tears still glistening in her eyes. "I have waited so long." "We will bring you home," Lily replied, her heart filled with warmth. As Anna stepped out of the painting, a brilliant light spread throughout the room, and the air became lighter. The cries ceased, replaced by a sense of peace. "Thank you for freeing me," Anna said gently. "I was so afraid." "You are free now," Lily responded, her heart brimming with happiness. Anna looked around the dark room one last time, then said, "I will always remember you, Lily. Thank you for saving me." As Anna vanished, Lily felt a deep sense of relief. She knew she had accomplished what others could not. The dark room was now a place of tranquility, free from cries, and filled with beautiful memories of friendship and courage. The old house was no longer a place of fear. It had become part of a hopeful tale about a lost soul saved, and a brave girl who faced her fears to bring light to wandering spirits. The shadow in the forest. The forest outside the small town where Emma lived had always been filled with many mysterious tales. Stories that her grandmother would tell her on cold winter nights, about shadowy figures appearing among the ancient trees and whispers carried on the wind. Each time she heard these stories, Emma felt a strange mixture of fear and fascination. She had always dreamed of exploring that forest, but never dared to step inside. But one day, curiosity overcame her fear. On a crisp autumn afternoon, as the leaves began to change color and the sky was tinged with red, Emma decided to leave the house. She donned a thick jacket and brought along a flashlight, filled with excitement and trepidation. The forest called to her, as if it wanted her to uncover the secrets it had hidden away. As she stepped into the forest, Emma immediately sensed the difference. The air was cool and still. The only sound was the crunch of leaves beneath her feet. She walked deeper into the woods, the sunlight dimming as the thick canopy of trees enveloped her. The flashlight in her hand flickered, casting beams of light into the surrounding darkness. As Emma ventured further into the forest, she began to feel that something was not quite right. A chill ran down her spine, but her curiosity urged her forward. Suddenly, she heard a faint sound behind her, like someone was watching her. Emma turned around but saw only silent trees, leaves rustling gently in the breeze. Determined to shake off her fear, she pressed on, only to hear whispers. "Emma, Emma." A soft voice echoed, as if the wind were calling her name. She stopped, her heart racing, questioning if she was dreaming. "Is anyone there?" she called, her voice trembling. There was no response, but the darkness seemed to thicken, and the light from her flashlight began to flicker. Emma felt a strange energy surrounding her. Just as she was about to turn back, a shadowy figure appeared before her. It was a little girl, around 10 years old, with pale skin and deep, ocean-like eyes. "Hello, Emma," the girl said, her voice resonating from a distant place. "I've been waiting for you." Emma couldn't believe her eyes. "Who are you? Why are you here?" she asked, feeling both frightened and curious. "My name is Lily," the girl replied. "I've lived in this forest for a long time. I'm trapped here and cannot return home." "But why?" Emma questioned, a knot of worry forming in her stomach. Lily explained that she had run into the forest one day to escape from other children. A strong storm had hit, causing her to lose her way. After the storm passed, she found herself unable to return, and the darkness of the forest kept her there. "I need a friend to help me escape," Lily said. "Can you help me?" Emma's heart stirred with compassion. She knew staying in this forest was dangerous, but she couldn't abandon Lily. "I will help you," she decided, and the two began their quest for freedom. They journeyed deeper into the forest, where shadowy trees loomed all around them. They encountered many strange signs, circular stone formations and glowing wildflowers illuminating the darkness. But this forest held not only beauty but also terrifying things. Occasionally, Emma heard echoes of laughter and soft sighs, as if other spirits were watching them. Throughout their journey, Lily guided Emma through narrow paths, and together they sought a way to free her. They climbed a high hill where a massive ancient tree stood, and Lily revealed that only the strength of friendship could help her break free. Emma felt a magical energy welling within her. She grasped Lily's hand tightly and closed her eyes, praying that their bond could break the barriers of the forest. When they opened their eyes, the light from the gem Emma had found in a small box earlier sparkled, and the darkness seemed to recede. "We can do this!" Emma exclaimed, hope flooding her heart. Together they sang an ancient song, their voices echoing through the forest. As the sound rose, shadowy figures began to appear around them, encircling them with light. But suddenly, a large dark figure emerged from the thicket. It moved silently toward them, its red eyes glowing like fire in the darkness. Emma felt a freezing chill run down her spine. "Don't be afraid," Lily whispered. "We must stand together." They held hands tightly, and the light from the gem grew stronger, causing the dark figure to slowly retreat until it disappeared into the shadows. Their friendship had shattered the power of darkness. Finally, the light from the gem enveloped the entire forest, dispelling shadows and freeing the trapped souls. The forest was now filled with light and hope. Lily thanked Emma for helping her escape. "You will never be alone again," Emma said, holding Lily's hand tightly. As they made their way back, the light from the gem continued to shine brightly, guiding them out of the forest. Both girls knew they had forged a powerful bond of friendship that transcended both life and the realm of spirits. From that day forward, the forest was no longer a place of fear. It became a symbol of friendship and courage, a place where shadowy figures were no longer trapped but had found freedom. Emma returned home, carrying cherished memories and an incredible story of friendship that she would share with everyone. The house on the hill. On a high hill stood an ancient house that had been abandoned for many years. This house stood out against the deep blue sky, yet it carried an ominous aura, as if it held many secrets within its walls. The local tales surrounding the house had turned it into a part of the town's folklore, making many residents steer clear of it. They said that strange lights often flickered in the night, and that the whispers of lost souls still echoed within the moss-covered walls. Martha, an 18-year-old girl, had always been captivated by these eerie stories. Living in the town, she often gazed at the house from afar, imagining what lay inside. A strong desire to explore it grew within her. One night, with the full moon casting its bright glow, Martha decided that she would no longer sit idly by. She grabbed a flashlight, a camera, and a notebook, promising herself that she would document everything about her adventure. As Martha reached the base of the hill, her heart raced with excitement and apprehension. She climbed the worn steps leading up to the house. The large wooden door was weathered but still intact, creating a mysterious allure. Martha pushed the door open. A creaking sound echoed, as if the house were welcoming her. Inside, the air was cold and damp, making her shiver. Dust and cobwebs covered the walls, and the light from her flashlight barely illuminated the old furniture. Martha stepped into the living room, where a dilapidated sofa lay in the center. She sat down, feeling the heavy silence enveloping her. Suddenly, she heard a whisper. "Help me." A gentle voice echoed from a corner of the room. She turned, but saw nothing except the cold wall. "Is anyone there?" she called out, her heart pounding. There was no reply, but the whisper continued, making her feel as if something was beckoning her. Determined to uncover the source of the voice, Martha stood up and walked down the hallway. She spotted a small door at the end, light from her flashlight shining on the rusty doorknob. She felt a strange pull, as if something compelled her to open this door. Martha grasped the doorknob tightly and turned it. Inside was a dark room filled with old objects and faded paintings. In the center of the room hung a large mirror, its glass coated in dust. As she approached, her reflection appeared, but behind her, a shadowy figure emerged, startling her. The figure was a girl, about 17 years old, with a sorrowful expression and deep, ocean-like eyes. "I am Eliza," she said, her voice soft as a breeze. "I lived here before this house was abandoned." Martha's heart ached. "Why are you here?" she asked. Eliza explained that she had lived in the house with her family, but a tragedy had struck. One night, during a severe storm, her entire family had vanished mysteriously. The house was left behind, and Eliza remained, unable to leave. "I can't find them," she whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. Feeling compassion for Eliza's plight, Martha decided she would help her discover the truth about her family. "I won't let you be alone anymore," Martha declared. "We will seek the truth together." They began exploring every corner of the house. Martha documented everything in her notebook, from old paintings to forgotten household items. They uncovered clues about Eliza's family, such as letters and photographs hidden in an old drawer. Step by step, they unveiled the mystery surrounding the house. As they delved deeper, Martha and Eliza sensed a dark presence surrounding them. Strange sounds echoed around them, and sometimes they glimpsed shadowy figures flitting past the windows. Yet they pressed on, knowing that the strength of their friendship and determination would help them overcome any obstacles. Eventually, they discovered an old letter tucked away in a forgotten book on a shelf. The letter spoke of Eliza's family living joyfully in the house before everything turned into a nightmare. They had celebrated a milestone, but as night fell, a fierce storm struck. "They never came back," Eliza whispered, her eyes filled with a mix of hope and sorrow. Martha realized that she had to take action. She decided to organize a memorial for Eliza's family at the house. She invited people from the town to join, so they could pray together for Eliza's family's souls to find peace. The Memorial Day arrived, bringing a somber yet hopeful atmosphere. Martha and Eliza stood before the house where they had uncovered so many secrets together. As people gathered, they lit candles and laid flowers on the ground, praying for Eliza's family's souls. As the light from the candles began to glow, Martha felt a magical moment unfold. Eliza smiled, and the light in her eyes seemed to shine brightly. "Thank you, Martha. I can finally go home," Eliza said, her voice like a gentle breeze. Martha looked into the mirror where Eliza had once appeared, and this time the figure was gone. Instead, she saw a happy family smiling together in the house. She knew Eliza had found her peace and could finally leave. After the memorial, the house on the hill was no longer a place of gloom and mystery. It became a symbol of enduring friendship and the vitality of the spirit. Martha returned to the town, carrying not only a story of the house, but also a tale of courage and companionship. From that day on, the house on the hill became a destination not only for the curious, but for those seeking a connection with the departed. And Martha knew she would always remember Eliza, a girl who became her friend during an unforgettable journey.